All right, sun's almost down, so it's a great time to start a new video. You know, I made like 5 of them today, so why not make one more? And we're gonna start with the 4150 right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross, the Oliver Man. And we're getting very close to where we could potentially make some laps with this. Although I'm kind of talking myself out of it because I still don't know about that fuel leak. I really would hate to burn this down. I don't know how bad it actually leaks. I need to carry a fire extinguisher with me, definitely. But I'm to the point of charging system. I am sick and tired of, you know, forgetting to shut the battery off and then it be having a dead battery. And I think a lot of my trouble was probably these wires just touching the frame and this terrible alternator of sadness. Somebody in the comment had a good one on those Lease Neville alternators. They're garbage. I don't like them. And somebody's probably going to say, oh, they're the best ever. But I'm going to put a Delco on. I do need to swap the pulley, which is no big deal. But it really would be handy if I got this panel out of there, which isn't really attached right anyway. So I'm going to take that off and I'm going to film till it looks like we can't see anymore, and then I'll pick this up tomorrow morning because I got to keep things moving here. I don't have time to not be doing something. I got oil filters and oil. I also want to change the engine oil in this, and then we'll decide before we leave whether we really trust this enough to do that. Otherwise we'll put the Landau in the 9650 and, you know, forget it. I hate to drag this. If this was over here, it'd be no problem, but I just don't know if I want to drag it all the way to Dad's and then find out that it's too bad a shape that I can't use it. Because, yeah, look, we still got some fluid dripping in there now, but it maybe isn't a lot. Maybe that's from the course of the last time I cleaned it out. So if I clean it all out before we go, maybe it won't leak very much. I don't know. But that is neither here nor there. Let's get to the project at hand. I tried to get all the stuff I needed before starting the video, but fear not, there'll be something that we didn't count on and end up having to totally do it differently. That's the way it always goes, especially when you got stuff like this where somebody's used different fasteners in every hole. Not that there's anything wrong with this, but it just makes things that much more difficult. I bet you that he had this overflow tube tucked in to this thing. That's my guess. Otherwise, why would that even be there? It obviously didn't work, but that was what his thinking was, I would bet you. Oh boy, this is loose, so that should come right off. Okay, you got a great place to be stuck for a change. That's very unusual. It looks like somebody loved it enough to put some belts on it at one time. I would assume, which you know what you get for assuming, but I would assume that that is 1/2 inch, the adjuster bolt. I don't know that we really need this guard on there, do we? Seems like it's going to make our lives more difficult for no apparent reason. I wonder why he put that on there. There's got to be some kind of reason. I'm sure it will become apparent when we start. Yeah, you know how it goes. We will find the answer of sadness. Don't worry, friend. Is it coming out? We actually need to take it all the way out because we're not just loosening, we're taking it off. I need a thinking stool. I forgot to tell you the other good news of this process, and that is that I already checked the wiring, and we have all the wires we need. We have a hot all the time. We have the battery wire, and then we have one that's hot only with the key. And you're going to wonder, what is he doing right now? Well, he got the ratchet stuck behind this brace. That's why he was working his connection off for no apparent reason. This brace is kind of bizarre because he's got all kinds of spacers wedged in here, and I'm not sure. We're gonna have to look at the parts book and see if that really was something from the factory or what gives. But I bet you I know what's gonna happen next, if anybody else wants to guess. And that is, I'm betting, just betting, because I know how life works, but I'm betting that we're going to have to take this whole bracket off, because this will probably twist off in there. And why wouldn't it, you know? It would be a shame if it would just work the correct way for once. Nothing ever does, but that one's probably 3/8. Yep. See, do I know or do I know by now? It takes all the sizes to do a simple task. Oh, wow! Friends, I bet it's going to throw a rod tomorrow, because otherwise why would that have just come loose for the way that it should? I mean, that doesn't seem right. I thought sure that thing was going to hit the brick. Come on, baby. We made it this far. Ooh, that's interesting. This shield was recessed in there. So I'm betting it was factory and I need to put it back on. And I bet it used to have more covering over it so you couldn't get into it. I mean, this was the mid-70s. They probably started getting concerned about people's stupidity, and they probably had to do the thing. Now the other thing I'm concerned about is Ross going to get this out of here, because it almost looks like that was a bushing in there. And it almost looks like, there we go, it started coming loose. Boy, that's a bizarro setup, friends. Oh, we need to swap pulleys, but I want to do a test tickle. A test fit. I think that is the size. Ooh, yeah, that fits that size. So we're good there. Let me get the impact and swap pulleys, and that should put us in good shape, although you never know. I'm betting, just looking at it, I'm betting that it ain't gonna work good. I bet you the impact sockets won't go in there in this. I'm gonna have to use a chromium. I mean, yeah, that's on there pretty freaking tight. You can't see what I'm doing, but you see that? I doubt I'll get it broke loose with a ratchet. If I could get this one off with a ratchet, I could get the other one, but I'm sure I won't, because I got no way to hold it. I mean, I could jam something in, but I do have chrome sockets on the truck. Let me see if I can run over there and get this buzzed off, and then we'll go from there. Okay, friends, let me show you something I learned. That goofy alternator is the gift that keeps on giving. They spot welded this to that, and I did a very scientific removal, and then I decided, you know what, I don't want to fool with that right now. So I dug around in my parts pile and promptly threw over a bunch of stuff, like buckets of bolts, but I found this parts one, see? And we're going to hope that we can get this off of there. I'm sure we won't. I'm sure it's going to be another struggle too, because it's packed with dirt. I mean, but we have a chance, at least with this, where when we get it out of there, it's good to go. Come on off of there, baby. You don't have to be that way. I guess I need the hammer and punch again. All right. Things I enjoy, parting out 3 alternators to make one good one. Yeah, sure. Now, we won't need that. It should just fit on there. There's no keyway. Let's see if sometimes we can't use what they gave us. Sometimes it takes, well, that might work. Let's see what it looks like on there. That's good. Still spins free. We got our 2 grooves. So now we're ready to test fit. I already put my pigtail in there. And like I said, this tractor actually has the correct combination of wires, so I don't have to jumper that one around. Everybody was so tore up about that when I said I do that. Because they said, "Alright, there's that feedback from the thing and then it won't do the damage." Sure. I'm sure it does. I'm not denying that. I gotta go with this guard. I don't like it, but if I don't, I'm afraid what's gonna happen is, yeah, see, that's why he had it spaced. He had it spaced out if it was hitting, but I'm afraid if I don't use it, unless I put a bushing in there, which I don't have right now, so I'm just gonna put it back the way he had it, and we can always take that off later. I'll go to town and get an actual, that ain't right. What did I do here? Yeah, my belt's all jumped around and it's getting dark and I can't see. So it's about time to quit. But I would like it back together enough to run it in case nighttime there would be an emergency that I'd have to get it out of the middle of my driveway, which it's sitting in right now. Oh, there we go. Is that right? We can only hope. We can only hope. Yeah, it's in there. Yep. Now let's put this one on. Two. Yep. I think. Why is that one so much looser than the other one? That ain't good. Is it just because it's lower quality? That is true of belts. I really like the Agco belts a lot of times because they are more or less a matched pair. I'm just checking the water pump to see how much failure we're gonna have later. But I think we're good. I need to put my goofy spacer back behind here. Is that enough? Let's go ahead and use his setup that he had in there. Right? Because by the time I get it, I'm only going to have a couple threads going, and I don't like that. Come on. Every day I'm struggling. Come on. There we go. It's coming along. Come on. Come on. Oh, yeah. get that started in there so we can not have to work so hard when it inevitably everything comes crashing down before our eyes. What did I do with the 7/16 socket? Oh, I see it. So we had to come out here, get that started. I hope it does. Come on. Get started and then we'll, oh, not even close. Well, that's fine, you know. If there ever was I wonder what success feels like, friends. Do you ever wonder that? Like, what would happen if stuff would just work the first time? I think we're working cross-threading here. I don't think we're actually... There. It's getting very close. I think we need to stop a minute and do the top one. And we're probably going to have to stop altogether because you're probably getting so dark you can't even see. I know people don't like nighttime videos, but that's just the way she's got to be. Come on. Awesome! I love it when it doesn't hit the ground, because that means we're going to struggle for half a day to find it. This feels like a homemade shield that a guy made. And it's doing an excellent job because I can't feel the ratchet at all. I don't know where it went. Oh, it's laying in the frame rail. All right. We're very, very close to success. And then we're going to call it a night because I've had enough. And we'll finish this in the morning in the light of stupidity. I really should get something and pry against that gingerly. Uh-oh. I see another problem. I see a problem that will self-fix itself, but it's going to be noisy till it does if it's... Oh, that's tight. I'm afraid that fan is going to hit the... Maybe not. Well, I say what we do real quick, and then we'll call it a night, is fire it back up and make sure it's not going to be throwing sparks and grinding metal. And then I can do the rest of the wiring with all the sheet metal on in the daylight. That way it'll more or less be sitting here put together, and then there's no struggle. So I think I got everything bad out of the way. Oh, we need to turn the battery on, which is on that side, so that's okay. Double check that there's no engagement of gears, because it would suck to get flattened. I mean, I think it would. Everybody who's had it happen never said they liked it. They don't usually say much of anything after that happens. This is a Caterpillar engine, so we're going to shake hands with danger.
Here, shake hands with danger.
Shake hands with danger.
Come on. Oh yeah, we're good. We're good. Awesome. We're on the right track. So I'm going to go ahead and put that piece of side cover back on. I'm going to probably put the big side cover back on so it doesn't get messed up overnight, like blown in the wind or something goofy. And then tomorrow morning we will finish our wiring and we'll change the engine oil, and then we'll assess the situation whether we want to try to take it out and use it. We're not ready for it yet. We need to work that up and spread some fertilizer before we'd be ready for the Landau, but we'll see. So I'll bring you back right like this. All right, next day. Maybe we can wrap this up. We need to do our wiring, and probably just for good measure, I should turn the battery back on so I can show you which wire does what. And we can also double check and make sure everything is the way that it needs to be. Of course, I gotta get rid of my extra crap here. All right, now if all is to be believed here, what we have is, this one is the battery. I don't know if you can see the test light light up. Probably not. Let's move it to there. Oh, well, there you heard it spark. But the test light lights up there. So that's obviously battery. This one is hot all the time. It also lights up. So that will go to our red wire. And then this other one is the key. So it will do switched key things. So that's how we're gonna go, at least. I really wanted to just put a new end on this, but I didn't have one that size, so I think better than, let's scrape on it a little bit. Better than using the wrong size and, you know, the thing. It would probably be better to just go ahead and use this, because it is making connection. It just don't look nice, the best. I like how this wire is wrapped around and around and around. I mean, we want to get this in some way where it's not going to be rubbing anything. Because I'm not convinced that wasn't part of our battery drain. Is that maybe that other wire was actually touching metal in there a little bit, and it was draining out, and we didn't realize it. What's this? I'm looking at all the stuff we got going here. Okay, so how do we want to proceed? Well,
Shake hands with danger.
about like that. We know it's got good juice. I need to just take that off before I do something dumb. All right. This is probably the part where I should turn the battery back off while we're doing this. But what fun would that be? It's a lot more fun doing it hot. I also thought it would be fun to use the crimper tool from the viewer again, which I have here. But I don't know if I'm going to have enough I really should have had the other side in there too. But that'll protect it whilst I get that one stripped. I also could do this in a way that would make more sense. Why don't I just do this? Why don't I pull the plug out? You know the thing. There we go. Oh, the crimping tool letting me down. Why is it doing that? All right. There's one. Let's get that. Quite honestly, all I'd have to do is just let that sit there, and that motor would cook that heat shrink on there. We'll do it for good order. If it needs to be more than that, it will. Yeah. Get rid of some of that junk wiring. Put this on there. Ooh, that is a very specifically different type of wiring there. I might have to use the old school crimper so I can crimp it tighter than that. That single strand wire, I don't know about that. I really would like to wrap those with tape to protect them so they're not just flailing all over the place. So I might have to see what I did with my electrical tape. But once we plug it back in, we should be good to go. So let me go grab some stuff. All right, that's all tucked in there. Now, with any luck, if I start this up, I should see that alternator gauge go wild, like to the charging side for a change. However, it probably still ain't gonna start with the key. We gotta sort that out. I don't know why, if that solenoid just happened to go bad, or if there is a dash wiring problem. There's a Buddy the dog. He's snoozing in the shade there. But we're gonna find out. Oh yeah! Charging. Something else though that happened, this gauge works intermittently, and then I don't know if that one's working. So that's making me question, perhaps there's a problem behind the dash now that's not letting everything do the thing. Because otherwise, what's going on? I mean, none of this, well, that's working again. Okay. Messing with the headlight switch got the fuel gauge to jump up. So that tells me that it's probably fine. Probably. It sure would be nice to know if the temperature gauge is working, because if it's not, I'm not taking it to the field. And it looks like it's all the way down, which of course it's cold, but usually you can see them twitch a little bit when you turn the key on, and I do not see that thing. So, I don't know. See, we're not seeing any twitching action. That's so weird that fuel gauge, I don't know. We're slowly sorting out its problems though. It's just gonna be a slow going affair because we don't know anything about the tractor, the history, you know, how often did they change fluids and things, and did they do the thing? We put this on a while back. I thought I'd check and see. Yeah, see, that's kind of dry. So that probably obviously needs more of whatever it is. I'm afraid everything adding up is looking more and more like it's probably not going to go to the field right now. I mean, there's things that need more attention. I really don't want to destroy it before, you know what I'm saying. I mean, I'm putting all this work into it. I really don't want to destroy it just for stupidity's sake. So, I don't know. I mean, what do we want to do, friends? Put the soil finisher on the 9650 and forget it? That's probably what's going to happen. Looking at that, that's still an oily mess. Is that still from... I'm just wondering if I ruined those O-rings when I put that on, or forgot to tighten it. I might be doing that again. I don't know. But it's coming along. It's just coming along slow. I think what I'll do is we'll continue with our... Let's go ahead and change the oil maybe. Ooh, I forgot. I dropped a wrench. This tractor has nice skid plates on it still. That X brace though is not doing the thing, so it needs attention. I don't remember what size. That's a pretty good size. So there's our filters, 2 of them, and I got those. Ooh, well, that ain't even attached. Is that important? That's probably the... I wonder if that's why that... Would that be why that buzzer quit working? Because that would be what that was. Maybe that thing came off and... It is. Awesome. Okay, good. That fixed that. So that wire came off that sending unit there that tells it sad times ahead. Yeah, see, there's just a lot of wiring issues that have been kind of homemade, but I'm going to get an oil filter wrench and we're just going to go ahead and slap some new oil and filters on it, and then we'll have to just go from there. The front end obviously needs more oil in it. The back end probably should have, you know, an appropriate checking, taking out plugs and making sure that we got the thing. And I really need to read up again and see. Sometimes it's not what it seems. The way the tractor shares oil back and forth in different ways, and I can't remember. You know, the 4180, it shares the front half oil with the 2-speed. This is a hydraulic shift, so it should be self-contained. And then, but then it could also be where that is supposed to be gear oil, or it could be hydraulic oil. Some of them were either way, and I need to check what's doing what, just to make sure. All right, I think I got everything. I'm going to start by changing filters, which probably sounds strange, but I'd like them to, I don't know. I just think it would be easier. Is that the way I want it? Yeah. Okay. This is our tool we bought from the our machinery show. I think it's gonna do the thing. Well, we can let that drip a minute. Perhaps we won't get it all over ourselves. We will, but it's a nice thought that we wouldn't. I should do that trick, I guess, where I punch a hole in the filter, you know, and then it wouldn't make a mess, but that's fine. We've made a mess before. So if I do it right, you're going to get it all over you. That's happening any second. Because you are dangerously close. Dangerous.
I used to laugh at safety. Now they call me Three-Finger Joe.
Sure. I'm gonna let that drip a minute. And then I'll put the new ones on. I'm gonna get a rag. Should have done that. Didn't think about it. Oh, friends, how we doing? Everything looks good anyway. Making sure that there's no rubber piece being left behind, because that is terrible when that happens. I'm going to fill these filters out here with a little bit of oil so that the tractor doesn't have to pump so much in there right away. Let's see if we can gently. That's probably good. Would be better if it was nice and clean, but that's not too bad. Can't really see what I'm doing. Sure. There we go. Clean screen again. Let's drain the Earl. I'm not real sure if it's, is it 15/16? That's what it kind of felt like. We'll start with that, and if that doesn't work, we'll go to something else. Maybe, if I can get close enough. I don't think that's it. Also, I should note that it's very uncomfortable sitting on these rocks. There we go. 7/8. Ooh, okay. Did we all survive that? Accidentally hit you pretty hard. It's time to change it. It's not bad oil. I mean, it feels like a good viscosity still. So it's not like we were running with terrible oil, but look at it. Look how dark it is. We don't know when the last time it was changed. It's just better to just do the thing, you know? Do the thing. Now it's just a waiting game. We're going to wait till that's done. Then we'll put the plug in. Then we'll start filling her full of oil again. Usually a general rule of thumb on these old diesels is 10 quarts. A lot of the old diesel stuff, that's what they held. I don't know for sure what this one holds, but I got enough to do that, so I bought 3 gallons, so that should be enough. That's what I'm saying. We just gotta wait on the draining. All right, I got the plug back in. Now it's just time to pour some oil. And I think we can do it here. It's just a trick, you can't get it all the way. Yeah, it'll go. And there's nothing to stick you to, because fiberglass, so just use your imagination. You can get a lot poured this way. You just can't get the jug quite empty. Got a little bit wild there. I'm gonna grab the rag before everything gets all over. Let's wait with that a minute and check. I'm sure it's not all the way down to the bottom yet, but try again. No, we're just barely on the stick. And I'm sure it's still draining down in there, but we might have to get more. It might hold more than that. I just kind of guessed based on what I have done before. Let's look at oil capacity. Gee, that can't be right. The AI on the internet is going to totally ruin stuff. It says that the oil capacity for the 3208 is 11 gallons. Baloney. I would believe 11 quarts. It says generally they were 14 to 16 quarts. All right, I had it running. It's good. It's now got oil, correct. The wind is picking up and blowing my trash away, of course, before I ever get it picked up. That's how life goes. I also did a quick check, test light here, and determined that that solenoid is what's at fault, why it's not wanting to start from the key anymore. So I'm gonna grab one of those in town. I got something else I gotta go pick up. But basically, we're gonna call that a success. I need to double check what oil I need for the front half, and then check the back half too. But basically then we service the hydraulic system, we service the engine. The only thing we haven't done is change oil in the rear ends and that, but we'll see. If it's gear oil, it'll probably be fine. At least it'll be fine for today to play. We can do that later. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think we made some good progress now towards making this a usable machine. So hopefully we can get a chance to play with it. And yeah, good hydraulic oil, still good. So that's excellent. I'm happy, happy, happy. So until next time, we'll leave this one here. After watching what you just saw, do you feel like your IQ has dropped lower than your credit score? Well, there's no reason that both of us should be miserable, so go ahead and hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. That stuff costs you nothing, and it really helps me out. Your banker may not approve, but I know mine will. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.